89.7 KLAS FM. My name is Richard Harris. Hoping that you are enjoying your Friday wherever you are around this lovely land. I want to apologize to those out there who've been trying to call to get through. Phone's been ringing off the hook. I just can't make any connection with it. I will say I just got a text from David from New York, and excuse me, all you fantasy fans out there, his selections this week. He said start Ryan Terrain this week and sit, the running backs from the Carolina Panthers. He thinks that the Bills defense and the 49 defense are two defenses worth taking because of their opponents that they're playing this week. And if you were in a market of trading or can pick up people, whatever, Michael Bush from the Raiders, even though the Raiders are off this week, but he's somebody to have on your roster for the rest of the season. Steve Breston is a good pickup, and so is Jason Hill. And so he had a good week last week with some of the things he was telling us to do and some of the, things that were happening in terms of some of the teams that performed pretty well last week. He wants to say to you all to good luck with your picks, and he'll be back next week talking fantasy football. Some more bad. Obviously, it's bad not be able to have this conversation with him to have him explain his picks, but we move on. The NCAA has decided that college athletes should get paid some money, but they're saying that it's not a pay-for-play type thing. It's kind of like a addendum to their scholarship money that they already get. Now, the reason why it's in the bad section of this show, in my opinion, this is ridiculous because it only favors the schools that essentially make money. The schools that play in the BCS conferences in football, the schools that are always invited to the NCAA for the basketball, they get money. That's no big deal. $2,000 to them is nothing. But the schools that aren't a part of the BCS or the major bowl prizes that come in college football, this is a disaster. I mean, BYU, for example, isn't in any conference. Now, BYU is an independent, and so how does that affect BYU? They don't get a part of the television deals and stuff like that. They may have their own television network, which I don't think they do. But some of these schools are going to start complaining that they cannot compete with the big schools in recruiting because they cannot offer $2,000 to their athletes. A school like Butler in basketball, how does that affect, Butler, yes, the last few years they've been in the championship game, but their conference is not a conference that makes a lot of money. So a lot of people think that this is just sort of, again, only for the big boys. And $2,000 per college student, that's a lot of money for student athletes. I mean, that's $1,000 a semester to do basically what you want with it. If you don't live off campus and you live on campus, you essentially have $1,000 for 4 months to live off of for food and for things that you need since your books and everything else is covered. So it's a win-win if you go to USC or UCLA. But if you go to Cal State Fullerton or you go to some other schools that are not a part of the big packages around the country, this didn't help you. I mean, I admire what the NCAA is thinking. I admire what they want to do. But again, this is about the rich getting richer, the rich, basically carrying the torch for the rest of the people around the country. But if you 99%ers are out there protesting, this is, I guess, part of your protest. Again, another example of how the little guy continues to take the hits while the prosperous continue to prosper. Some more bad. Referees in the National Football League and in college football are in hell. I said the same exact quote a year ago when I started doing this show. I can never be a ref because every single call that you make, someone's looking over your shoulder because of the instant replay. And now, you can't even call, if somebody makes a perfect form tackle, it's a penalty. I mean, that hit in that Jacksonville-Baltimore game was a joke. It was a 15-yard penalty. The hit in the college football game this past weekend, where the guy drove the quarterback into the ground after taking one step, it was a joke. The hit in the Green Bay game when they said that Clay Matthews hit Christian Ponder low is ridiculous. We're taught as kids when you tackle somebody where the strike area is. But if you use a face mask to do so, referees are having a hard time getting into position to see whether or not it's a legal hit or not. And therefore they're throwing the flag. It's killing football. I don't care if you're an offense guy. I don't care if you're a pro. Whatever you're pro in football. But football's being killed because you can't tackle. Because you can't do what you've been doing since you were 6 years old. And for 30 years of my life at least, NFL was making millions of dollars selling videos of hard hits. In fact, I guarantee that hit by Pollard would be on a video of hard hits of this season. It's hypocritical. And the referees don't know what to do. If they don't throw a flag, even the guy near the play, he's not throwing flags. The guy 20 yards down the field is throwing a flag. Let him play. We know about the Brady rule. You can't tackle quarterback low. Well, you can't tackle him high either. How the heck are you supposed to tackle a quarterback? And if you take more than 2 steps after the quarterback has released the ball, you can't see a lot of times that the quarterback has released the ball because you're engaged in blocking or you're engaged trying to get off a block. Flag football is boring. Let him play. And the final bad. And this is another stupid bad. How about the Los Angeles Dodgers? The Dodgers, the last couple of days, released a statement basically saying that they will not take the brunt of this Brian Stowe incident, and that Brian Stowe's family, or Brian Stowe himself, should have some responsibility in what happened to him that night at Dodger Stadium. Now, granted, nobody knows what happened because we haven't heard Brian Stowe's side of it. And the 2 men that the police have in custody deny being there. So, the Dodgers apparently a few years ago had an incident where a woman got hurt at Dodger Stadium. She suffered some kind of an injury at the stadium, and the person that injured her, like, they all split up liability, and the Dodgers picked up the balance. And so the Dodgers are like, the Stowe family wants $50 million from the Dodgers because they feel the Dodgers didn't have adequate security. The Dodgers are going to argue in court, which they already have, that they had over 200 police officers at Dodger Stadium that night. They're going to argue that, okay, so maybe that wasn't enough. Then they're going to argue that they've paid money out of their own pocket for the investigation. They've already done fundraisers for this guy's family. They've already had drives for this guy's family. They've already put money in for the reward and the arrest for the people involved in this incident for this guy's family. So they're sitting back saying, what else do you want from us? Mr. McCourt, who just apparently is being outed now, apparently saying that he spent $190 million on himself for his own lavish lifestyle, do you think he's going to want to take $50 million out of his lavish lifestyle to give to somebody who got into a fight at his stadium, who some people who have been saying that he might have even started the fight? This is crazy. This story is never going to end because they don't know who really did it. The Dodgers have been absolutely lambasted. They have absolutely been roasted over the hottest coals possible based upon this incident. And the fact of the matter is, the Dodgers feel that they've done all they can do. They had 200 police officers there. They had tons of security all over the place. And they still don't even know what really happened because the 2 people who've been arrested deny involvement. And then you want $50 million from them? And you think the doctors are going to want to pay that? What a world we live in, folks. And we'll be back to talk about the ugly in sports. If those two stories weren't ugly, I don't know, I don't know what else is ugly. After this message from the Jeffrey Foundation.